change my location.
Right. Well, greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Balkanizer here in the midst of the heat wave, which I think is covering most of Europe. So it's pretty hot everywhere. So we're just going to give a bit of a snapshot of the Balkan summer from our little perspective, aren't we, Charlie? Something like that.
Yes, yeah. Well, I've just come back from a trip to Greece via Ochrid in northern Macedonia.
Yeah. So
And
we've got North Macedonia, we've got Greece, we've got Kruševac, Kopaonik area.
yeah,
Got Elder Tadej, there's a modern Serbian saint, and various other things as well.
Slava up
So
in the backwoods of a Slava I attended yesterday up in the
yeah,
backwoods of,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
So that's something very Serbian, isn't it? Slava. Okay, let's start with
yeah,
that. Okay, so yesterday was the feast of the prophet Elijah, which is a Slava for a lot of people. Slava is this family saints' day where the whole family gets together, brings together friends and family as well for a big feast, if you like. So could you tell us a bit about how that went?
yes. Well, it was a large family gathering. Zonko is the name of the person who's holding the Slav. Is the head of that particular branch of the
Mhm.
family. Although his brother was also celebrating on the same day in the same place.
Oh,
So
right. Okay.
yeah. Although they are apparently it's Sveta Petka is much more much many more people in the village actually celebrate that
Yeah,
Slava.
that's another one. Yeah, she was a
Yeah.
Serbian nun, wasn't she, Sveta Petka?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. Certainly, she seems to be
She's a
very
very big saint in Serbia, very
yeah.
common for Slava.
And that is the her Slava that I took on as mine. So
Oh, that's your.
when I was
Right. Okay,
christened
that's
into
your
the
one, isn't it?
Orthodox
Yeah.
Church.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So we went up to Zvonko. Because we've stayed with him on a number of occasions, and he's a relation of my wife's mother's, so he refuses to take any money ever for accepting us as guests there. So I when he saw my icon of St. Nicholas, he was very complimentary about it. So I immediately thought, yeah, there I can give back a little bit. So
Okay.
I
Great.
wrote an icon of St. Ilia. It actually
Yeah.
turned out as one of my best. Well, it is the one I've done most recently, but
Hmm.
I was really quite pleased with the results. I was looking at it now, comparing to the painting I'm doing at the moment, and I was really quite surprised that I was thinking, did I really do this? Which is an interesting
Well,
experience.
that's
I
right.
mean,
This is it. The
my hand was
supernatural
guided, definitely.
divine hand is upon you when you're doing an icon. Yeah.
I,
You,
I, I
you,
think so.
mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
You're getting quite adept now at this golden background. Is that right?
I've
You've
got a
got it.
little bit better, but
Yeah.
I'm still learning that craft. I think that this big painting I'm doing now for the exhibition will be the best from that point of view. Hopefully, from the painting
Okay.
point
So
of view
what
as
is
well.
this exhibition exactly? When will that be and where will that be?
It's due to be held from the 5th of November,
Yes.
but I have to get everything finished and photographed and submitted by the
Right.
10th of October. So with
So
this
and what's the location?
it's going to be in here in central Belgrade. Do you know? Is it? I can't remember. There's an old house very near to Sabor Crkva,
Oh yeah.
um,
Okay.
across the road there. It's used as a museum, but
Okay.
also as a gallery. But it's going to be held there. It's
Okay.
organised by um, the. It's. I never know what they're connected to the Serbian Orthodox Church, but they are like the art and art history department
Okay. Okay.
for that. So it's them who's holding the
Okay. So
exhibition.
your icon will be on display with a lot of other people's, I
Well,
guess.
it's a competition, so I'm hoping that they
Stop
have
it.
a jury, and only selected icons will enter paintings that will enter the exhibition. So
Okay.
if I get in, it will be something of a reputational boost for me.
Well,
So
certainly. Yeah. Sounds
um,
good. Actually, that
um,
makes me think of this exhibition that was at Sanu. Do you know this one of Saint
yes,
Sava?
Yes, of course. I went there a couple of times
Uh-huh.
to study the paintings and look at
Yeah, I was
the
quite
artifacts.
amazed actually. I was
Mm,
I was expecting just a few bits and pieces, um, but it's very nicely organized, a lot of
mm,
detail, very
yeah.
well presented, and extensive texts about the
Yes.
exhibits
Yes. Hmm.
and about the various phases of, let's say, the cult of Saint Sava, the following, the of
Hmm.
different phases of his functionality. That's not the right word, is it? But his role is the word, isn't it? Role in the
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Serbian culture.
Well, it is again one where you can really see the hand of provenance working
Yes,
the historical record. I mean, Serbia could so easily have gone towards the Latin Church and uh, the Catholic Church into Rome,
yes,
but because of that man at that
yes,
historical moment, just after the sacking of Constantinople in
yes,
1204,
yes.
it was the perfect moment for Serbia
Yeah, an
to form itself as a
amazing
state. And
providence,
yeah,
that he went down there, went down to Vatoped. Of course, we touched on this, I think, last time,
yeah,
but
yeah,
he was exposed to the whole of Orthodox culture, in and the Greek language in particular.
hmm,
And he served as a like a conduit of that, really,
yeah,
into Serbian culture. And he wrote this thing like the Nomo Canon. I don't know if you've heard of that,
yeah, yeah, hmm,
which was basically he took the canons of the church, um, and he's basically translated so much from Greek into Slavonic or whatever it
yeah,
was at that time.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, certainly remarkable, and a great painting of when his remains, his relics were burned.
yeah,
And this has just come up recently in my experience, because I have a friend, Dr. Christopher Lockwood, who I met when I was living in Thessaloniki, and he was studying for his doctorate at that time. But now he's back in his home state, country, California. Um, but he's visiting the Balkans at the moment. And what he just appeared on the Hram TV, which is like the church, Serbian church TV.
yeah,
Um, and he said, he's very perceptive about the role of Saint Sava, and he said it was like a whole burnt offering. This image in the Old Testament, this a sweet smelling savor to God. So the
yeah,
Turks thought they were sort of trying to, destroy the Serbian resistance,
hmm,
but it in fact created an opposite effect.
yes,
Um,
yeah, hmm.
and Christopher gave I thought, an amazing presentation of that in his interview.
Right. Yes, I must watch it. I will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I highly recommend. I think I'll put it.
yeah,
I'll put it in the
of course.
description here,
Yes.
because it's a very interesting thing that somebody who hasn't lived here, um, and I don't know how many. Maybe this is his first time here. His grandmother was Serbian. Okay,
Right.
so yeah,
Right.
so he has ancestry here, but
Hmm.
this was, in the distant past. So he hasn't really grown up in any sort of Serbian culture. When he came to Orthodoxy, it was in the Greek context.
Yeah.
But he really caught this thing about how Sava, um, you know, led the Serbian people into Orthodoxy and the great sacrifice that was made, and so on. So it's really worth watching. Um, and you just also connect with my neighborhood, because I live across the Danube from Belgrade in Banat,
Yeah.
and it was actually the Banat rebels. I don't know how much you know about that.
No,
No,
nothing.
okay. Well, it was a rebellion here in this
Hmm.
part of occupied, um, what do we call this region, Pannonia or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it was here that they organized. The Serbs rose up against the Turks in Vršac, this town there,
Right.
and
Yes. Hmm.
Bečkerek, which is now called Zrenjanin,
Right.
um,
Hmm.
and some of these other towns in this region. So that's interesting, and apparently they had banners of Saint Sava. They that was their.
Right. Hmm.
um,
So, what was that then? The reason why the relics were burned?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
Right.
it. I mean,
Right. Yes.
the
Hmm.
burning was to, you know
to
I mean, I
punish
don't know
them
how
for their.
direct the connection was, whether
Mhm.
because the Turks saw these banners, but it could well have been that they saw the banners with Saint Sava on. They said, right, okay, we'll burn the
Mhm.
relics.
It's
And of
always been
course,
the way to attack a people, isn't it? To destroy
yeah,
their cultural emblems
yeah,
and
precisely. And so it's on the top of the hill in Vračar. So the idea was
yeah.
across the Danube they could see it. So, but yeah, but that was just going back to that exhibition. That was one of the things there, wasn't it? And there was quite a lot about sort of architecture. Like, oh yeah, another one, Uroš Predic. You know him. Is
The
that
artist.
familiar? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because they had a big
Yes.
painting of him because that it was
Yeah.
about Sava, Saint Sava, and children, and
Mm.
he did this painting. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's in the back portion of
Yeah,
the
because he was
yeah.
born in my wife's village, right? So,
Yes, yes,
um,
you told me. Yeah, yeah.
and the church has his paintings in it actually. But for example, the grammar school in Pančevo is named after him.
Yeah, yeah.
So all these things connecting. I don't know. Is there anything
Mm.
else you might remember from that expo there?
Well, I looked concentrated most on the main icons of Christ and
Okay,
of the Theotokos. Yeah,
yeah, they were
I was
quite
looking.
significant ones, weren't
I
they?
could get behind them and look at the backs of the. You
Oh,
sort of,
really? You could see the
well, there
back,
was
could
a
you?
rope at the front, but if you sort of sneak behind and have a look at it. So I was
And
looking
what
at
did you learn
the
from this
boards they
little?
were on. Well, I was surprised, for example, at how thin the boards are
Oh,
on
right.
which they're painted. It's
Yeah.
not surprising that they warped with time, although they are still in very good condition as far as I can
Yes.
see. Um, but yeah, the ones that we work on are definitely a bit chunkier. Um,
Okay, something a bit more.
and that gets me thinking. I mean, I'm making these things; they're built to last,
Yes.
and one wonders how long they will last.
Well, that's right. It's what's the weakest link. I mean, the gold is obviously a strong link, isn't it? I mean, that's going to last, but maybe something else isn't so durable.
Depending on how well I've applied it,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
thoroughly
Yeah.
I've burnished it into the bole underneath
Mhm.
and so on. But yeah, egg tempera it is egg tempera
Mhm.
on a traditional gesso, so it should last for a long time, unless it just gets chucked in the rubbish
Okay,
bin
right. Well, that's my next. That's a good segue for me, this one,
Great.
because I was yesterday, as I mentioned before we started recording, I was at the monastery of Elder Tadej, right, who was
Yes.
a modern saint, died at the beginning of this millennium, just 2006, was it, or three?
Hmm.
Anyway, he so but the connection is the monastery, right, which is a medieval founded by King Milutin,
Oh, right,
I think.
right. Hmm.
So the building is old, but
Hmm.
interestingly, inside all the frescoes are, I would say, 18th, but this rather sort of primitive. I don't know if you know the ones I
Yeah,
mean.
I know.
Um,
I know the kind you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
rather sort of rough and ready kind of thing.
Hmm.
And Christopher, I went with Christopher Lockwood actually, and he pointed out, "Oh, that one looks like a skull." It was the face of Christ, but somehow there were plenty of cracks in the plasterwork,
Hmm.
and so the sort of faces were a bit, deformed actually in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
places. But that was just striking, how that period of iconography, it's so far from the Byzantine. Um,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Well, I think they did go through quite a long, slow stage of decline in their what
yeah.
they
So,
call it.
so I mean,
It's
do you know how the
copying
sort of
and
disconnect? How did they get this sort of disconnect with the sort of higher form, if you like?
I think it's just sort of Ottoman provincialism essentially.
Yeah, they were stuck in a
They were
backwater,
cut
and
off from
yeah,
any kind of a
yeah,
roots.
yeah,
Although I have been reading recently, I read a text about a well, it was a retelling of a particular story in the context of Bulgarian Christianity and
yes,
or Bulgarian Orthodoxy from the monastery of Rila. Um,
yes,
and there was one particular um, wandering theologian, I suppose you could call him that, or wandering priest who wrote quite a lot of these texts designed in a kind of modern Bulgarian. This is 17th century we're talking about.
Right. And what he was
So
writing in some sort of Bulgarian, was it?
yeah, yeah, writing religious texts
Yeah.
intended to be read as he was touring around, collecting money for his monastery and trying to persuade his Christian compatriots actually not to convert to Islam
Uh-huh.
and to maintain their Christian traditions. So this was happening in the 18th century. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yes, one gets the feeling that in a lot of these places that the artistic quality had
Well, that's it. Yeah.
been neglected, and
Yeah. Yeah.
there wasn't the money. Of course, it always costs a lot of money to fresco a
Well,
church.
that's it. That's it. I mean, you have
And
to admire them for doing what they did, really, in the
exactly. No, no,
circumstances.
I wouldn't want to sound like
Yeah.
I'm denigrating them in any
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Um, they they
So,
um, they did what they could do in very difficult circumstances, I think.
yeah. Yeah. So it's, so just to go on to this monastery, which is in the east of Serbia, near a town called Petrovac. Um, and there's two monasteries. There's this one, and there's one at Gornjak, which are, I think, that has a similar period of foundation.
Hmm.
But it's, I mean, above all, it's spiritual um, aspect, if you like. So you just feel
Yeah,
this grace, that the holy man was there. I mean, I feel like anyway, I can't think of a monastery I've been to, a Serbian monastery or Orthodox monastery, where there hasn't been this, you know, um, at least historic ones. Maybe some modern ones you don't feel so much, but
yeah.
certainly these historic ones, you feel this great sense
I
of.
think I'm beginning to become a little more sensitive to these kinds of feelings. But it does require a training, I feel.
Yeah, and it's a sort of help to prayer,
Yeah,
somehow
yeah,
these things lift your heart up.
yeah, yeah.
So, and I haven't made one of these trips for a while. I really miss this,
Hmm.
because of family circumstance, I haven't been able to do it so much. But it's so great just to drive out to a monastery and just, wander around a bit, go into the church, um, and it's just another dimension really that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go into. And it's good if you can actually touch base with local people or connected people.
Hmm.
And that worked out very well yesterday, that they have so as you come up towards the Monastery, there's a sort of open area, under shade, where people
Yeah.
sit around, and drink water and coffee and, um, what do you call that? Sweet Turkish delight thing. There's a word for it here. What's the
Ratluk.
ratluk? That's right. That's the
Yeah,
word they use here,
hmm,
isn't it?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Turkish delight is essentially
Yeah,
what it
that's right.
is.
That's how what we English calls it, but it
Is it
does.
lokum
Look,
in
yeah.
Turkish? Yeah.
Oh,
What do they
lakumi.
call
Yeah,
it?
that's another one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a few guys hanging around there actually. We didn't meet the monks. So apparently, there's two monks, the igumen and another monk, who
Right.
still hold that. There's quite a reasonably sized residential. What do you call this thing? The place where they live. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
residential bit.
In Serbian, they call it a konak.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That's,
it. That's it.
um, yeah.
So I don't know if we have really an English word for that. So
I'm not sure we do we? I mean,
monastery,
we have the dormitory.
dormitory, but
We
this
have
dormitory doesn't
the.
sound right for a monastery, does it? Um, so that was there, but the monks were probably resting or whatever there. So we chatted to the guy, but it was interesting that it was from our generation, and this guy says, "Oh, you're a rock and roll generation." So
Mhm.
we're talking at some lengths about the bands of the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But at the same time, and he was a real enthusiast, this guy. I mean, far more than I ever was for all these rock bands. Um,
Hmm.
but um, but then he said, yeah, but Elder Tadej, he was a very holy man, and he used to come here.
Yeah.
Um, so and this guy, so he lives quite a way away from this place, and he comes every weekend just to
Mm.
help out like this. And there was another guy telling about, some of the miracles that happened and so on.
Right. Right.
So,
Hmm.
basically, one guy said he came with his friend, and it was just packed. They came up and one of his friends wanted to speak to Father Tadej, and it was just like hundreds of people. It was complete, the whole courtyard in front of the church was packed, and this
Yeah.
guy was really frustrated. And then Father Tadej said something like, okay, just listen, everybody, just listen, and your questions will be answered. And somehow some woman went to Tadej and said, I want to get married. What should I do? How should I prepare? And then so Father Tadej started speaking about marriage. And this friend of the guy I was talking to was like shocked because that was exactly his question,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it just came to him through, across over the heads of everybody else without him having to, because he was frustrated that he couldn't get near. So these were the kind of things that happen. But yeah, it's this definite beautiful thing, in the Serbian countryside. You can go to among the forests and so
I
on.
must visit it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we of course visited a church on our way down to Greece. We
Yes,
visited the church and the cemetery connected to it, where my wife's great grandfather is buried.
right.
So it was something of a pilgrimage for her to the gravesite. No one of the family has
Yeah, so I was struck
been
when
there
you
for
talk,
years and years.
and it's a church on the side, on the sort of top of a hill, basically, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. You used to be able to see it quite clearly, perched on the top of the hill there, near
Yeah, I
Vladic and
remember when I used
Hana.
to drive down to Greece, I always thought, that's a beautiful place. And I thought it was a monastery or something, but apparently it's just a church, yeah?
It's just a little chapel, really. I think that's what you would call it. Whether there are some associated buildings near it. There's a bell
Yes.
tower and the little church and um, um, a walled enclosure
Hmm.
with a gate into it. So
So is it in use? I mean, is it used?
it certainly is in use, yes. Although unfortunately it was locked when we got there, so we couldn't
Yeah.
go into the church. But
Uh-huh.
there were flowers, and there was a sign saying, "Please water the flowers if you come up."
Oh, really? Oh, that's
So
okay.
whenever visitors
Public
arrived, they
spirited
had to
thing to
water the
do.
flowers.
Yeah.
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 Um, but it looks like a pretty old church. It's surrounded by this rock cut ditch,
Right.
and Stubal itself is famous for being a, uh, a village of stone cutters,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and it's near a good source of good quality
Okay.
limestone. I think that's
Okay.
the main thing. But the church itself is surrounded by this deep rock cut ditch. It looks very ancient, and yeah, but a very small structure of, again,
Yeah, well,
huge
there's some real
monolithic
pearls, aren't there?
blocks
If
of
you look around,
limestone.
you can come across these pearls, sometimes abandoned,
Yeah,
sometimes still in
yeah,
use.
yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, next segue. Because I was on the side of Mount Kopaonik, which
Yes,
is the highest or one of the highest peaks anyway in Serbia.
yeah.
And it's the big skiing mountain. And they've
Mm,
really, I don't know, they've made it into a very serious ski resort. Some people would criticize that. There's a lot of hotels and stuff very near the top of the place.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, it's a beautiful, huge mountain, um, with where people go skiing. Um, but we're going on a summer visit, and we were staying in a place called Brujece, which is a village at about 1,200 meters. And I said that the biggest institution or most active institution there is something called a Hotel Junior, or Junior, I suppose you'd say it in,
Yeah, yeah,
Serbian.
yeah.
And this is where sort of school parties, I think principally football teams and basketball
Hmm.
teams go there in the summer to do some training. There's quite a few sports grounds around it.
It's good altitude training as well, I presume.
Well, that's it. I mean, I think it's great to go in summer because it's not so hot, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
bit
Hmm.
more bearable, so they can get in some practice without collapsing in the 35, 40 degrees heat or whatever's down here.
Exactly, yeah.
Um,
What were the temperatures like while you were
it
there then?
was fine, exactly,
Hmm.
5, 6 degrees. It was like 25,
Wow,
like
lovely.
that. And
Yeah.
then on the last day, it was actually a bit of rain and, quite cool.
Hmm.
Um,
This is, part of the traditional life of the Balkans, of course. I mean, in the summer, the lowlands were often, well, particularly because of the grazing, So they would, in lots of parts of the Balkans, they would herd the cattle up
The higher ground, yeah.
into the summer grazing pastures in the
Yeah.
highlands, and
Yeah.
that certainly happened in Kopaonik. It happened on Stara Planina,
Yeah.
and nearly everywhere where the grass was still growing, they would camp out for the summer. It
Yeah.
must have been an incredible time, I think, to be up in the mountains, away from the heat, away from um, the Turks, away from
Yeah. That's
anything except your family and your animals, making kaymak and making cheese in
that's right.
preparation for
Yeah,
for the
Kaimak, for
winter.
everybody who doesn't know, is the top of the milk, isn't it? Basically,
Yes,
more or less.
essentially, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
They
Very
boil the
cool.
milk, skim off the
Yeah, they
fat,
would sell.
and
That was one of the
preserve it
products
with
they were
salt.
selling. So, of course, at these places, you have a few people selling local. So, Kaimak was one, um, which my wife and mother-in-law, for some reason, decided to buy before we travelled back to
Right,
Benjamin, which
right,
was quite
yes.
crazy because I mean, yeah, because it's sitting in the
You
car
should
for
leave that to the last
yeah,
minute
half a
when the
day, so
temperatures are
there
above 30
wasn't much
degrees.
use of
Yeah.
that when we got home.
Mhm.
But anyway, what one was jam, a lot of jam.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Do they still make? Did you get any of that wild strawberry jam with all the tiny little strawberries in
yeah,
it?
there was. I think there was something like that, but
Mm.
they were buying apricot. That was like for
Well,
some
yes,
reason.
this
But I
year,
saw
of
those
course,
little
the
strawberries in a conserve, in like a jar,
yeah,
some
yeah.
years ago.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that was one of the sort of big exports there, and
It's
of
one of
course,
the things that you find on the roadside quite frequently everywhere in the Balkans when you're driving around. Either local honey
honey.
or these local preserves of
Yeah,
one sort or
yeah,
another. And
yeah.
quite
We
often
stopped for some of that yesterday, actually.
in the mountains, it's this wild strawberry honey,
Yeah,
wild strawberry jam. Yeah.
yeah. So the connection is with that. This is a village, um, which I checked. The Wikipedia says the last population survey was like it says 238 people or something lived in this village. That was like more than 10 years ago. But anyway, but of course you don't get that feeling at all because it's full of all these big accommodation
Yeah.
buildings. Um, So I guess in the winter it's very busy. But even in the summer, there's a span. You've got the people at the sports camps, and then you've got other camp, just like a simple summer camp, which was not in the Hotel Junior. And then you
Hmm.
have a few people like us, few families who are, taking advantage of the special offers, if you like, in this ski
Yeah.
accommodation in the summer. Um, and but what was interesting, there's a church, there's a new church
Right.
there.
Yes. Hmm.
So I strolled down, and lo and behold, it was open. And to be honest, it was open every time I went.
Yeah.
Um, but I sort of did a bit of research online, and it was, I think the foundation stone was blessed by the bishop in 2018,
Right. Also very
and
recent. Yeah.
it was the basic structure was built 2019. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, I think it was basically built before COVID, the whole thing. Because I remember
Yeah.
seeing it, because I came up after COVID. I mean, that's when I first went to the Brzezice,
Right.
teaching at an English camp there, and that was 2021. And it was there then. I didn't check it out at that time, but this time I went in, and it's completely frescoed. This church,
Right. Yeah.
every wall is frescoed.
Hmm.
Um, very very nicely. In this, what's typical now of new build Serbian churches
Hmm.
is Greek, the same style as you would see in a Greek church. It's
Right.
just the
Right.
same. It's just the same, but with obviously with Slavic rather than Greek wording.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's very beautiful. Um,
There must be something of a revival going on in frescoing of churches. I think Zvonko, our relative
yes,
in Panjevac, there near Despotovac, he
yes.
is. They have also recently built a church and had it frescoed
Oh,
at
really?
huge
Really?
expense. I mean,
Well,
in this
yes,
tiny village up
that's right. It's not a cheap
in the middle of
task.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, that one's dedicated to Sveta Petka, of course. That's
That's sort of that goes. Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
haven't yet seen it, but
well, that's it. I mean, you drive around, you see some amazing newly built
mm,
churches. Often with
yeah,
these onion domes with
yes, yes. Mhm.
um, gilded or whatever, some sort of metallic finish. Um, so But anyway, so there is, but it's not open every Sunday. That's what I found out because it was, we were there. Part of our time there was the weekend.
Right.
It's open on feast days. But the great thing about it is it's feast days and big feasts. Um, that they do go up there. Um, but the great thing about it is that it's open. You can go in and pray there
Yeah.
at any
Yeah.
time. Um, and
Yes,
really,
as
and
churches should be, and as they are in relatively settled, quiet communities. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. But the amazing thing is they built this very big. Um, again, I'm looking for an English word. Um, it's a bit like in Greek you would say arkondoriki. It's this get reception area.
Yeah.
It's sort of
Yeah.
like the church hall, I guess you would call it, wouldn't you?
Yes. Yes.
But very extensive, very big one.
Mm.
And then there's another building where the candles are and the shop.
Yes. Yeah. That
Yeah,
these are the standard
yeah, the standard
accompanying.
things. So it's all
Yeah.
there, and a very large huge area of paving.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, So yeah, I guess hope in the future more and more people will go. Maybe it'll be open more. There'll be more often liturgies at it. But oh yeah. By the way, it's Saint Ramon. Have you heard of Saint Ramon?
No, I haven't. No.
He was a monk. So he's one of the monastic saints. I
Yeah.
think connected with this sort of hesychastic movement,
Right.
and in sort of southwest region towards what's now the
Mm.
Montenegro border, that kind of area. But
Right.
there are quite a few churches dedicated to him. There's another
Right.
one near the motorway, actually, which you can,
Really?
as you
Yeah.
drive down, you've probably seen it. It's a sign. They have these signs pointing to
Yes.
monastery. Have you
Yeah.
noticed St. Ramon about before you get to Parachin, that kind of area? But
Well, I tend not to go very much further than Chopria, so maybe I haven't
yeah,
seen
but you
it.
just went to Greece.
Well, yes, true. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, it's only when we go to Greece that we go any further than.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's one. I went there a long time ago because I was chatting with a Serbian guy and he wanted to stop at every monastery which was like near the road. So
Yeah.
we went there and that was St. Ramon as well. But anyway, because there was no church there no liturgy on Sunday, I went down to a town called Brus, which is the town
Yes.
at
Yeah.
the foot
Brusenan,
of Kopaonik. And the church there is Transfiguration, I think. And
yeah.
that's
Right.
quite an old one. Quite an old one.
Right. Right.
Uh, and that also, oh yeah, that had very interesting fresco.
Mm.
So as you go in, they have a fresco of the Last Judgment, but this is new, relatively new, and it
Yeah.
had at least there was several of the people in hell, in the lake of fire. These guys with a tie, like a suit and tie, all these
Right. Yes.
businessmen and bureaucrats. I
Intended
was
to
quite, I've
represent
never seen
certain
that before.
communist officials. That
Yeah.
yes. Well,
So
that's acceptable, I think.
well, yeah, I mean, but it was quite striking, really. What it was
Mm.
saying about this whole culture of, the city of London. I don't know whatever it was. These sort of businessman banker types with these ties.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, quite sobering, quite sobering.
Yes. I
Um,
wonder whether any of the faces are recognizable. Then are they?
yeah, well, I think
They
they were generic actually,
right.
but
Right.
but it wasn't like super detailed. But
Yeah.
it was definitely this sort of modern man. It wasn't just some old guy in some medieval tunic or
Yeah.
something like that. Is what you
Yeah.
remember, a typical painting like that. But it was people from the modern era.
Yeah, I was very impressed again by the frescoes in St. Sophia in Ochrid. These
Oh yes.
11th century paintings that
And what kind of condition? I can't. I mean, I've been there, but I've forgotten
yeah,
what
well,
they're like.
they're in pretty good condition
Yes.
in the behind the iconostasis
Uh-huh.
in the dome there. There's a
Yes.
representation of Christ, and the apostles are uh, taking communion from him. I think yes,
Okay.
he has bread
Yes.
and wine on the
Uh-huh.
table, and he's distributing communion, and they're all approaching him in
Mhm.
the same style as a Byzantine courtier would have approached the emperor with their cloaks covering their right hands
Oh
in a
yes.
particular kind
Okay.
of gesture. And then there's a whole frieze
Yeah. Okay.
of
So because
angels
Ochrid was
doing the
very
same
much
thing.
the connection with Byzantium, wasn't it? It was the
Well, the church was built and frescoed in the period immediately after the fall of Samuel's Bulgaria, the
yes.
last
Yes.
the well, there were others, but the last of that particular um,
And
University
the
of
style of the
Antioch.
icons is, would you say,
Well,
sort of
it's
high?
different. It's not like the ones that we see in Studenica, for example,
Right.
the Paleologian
Yes.
Renaissance, that period. Um, Although that was even earlier. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know my Byzantine art history as well as I should. But these are 11th century. I quote it's 11th
Yeah.
century iconography, and the faces and the poses are definitely very different. Each of the apostles has their own particular expression. It's not naturalistic painting exactly,
Yes.
but um, it is very expressive, very dramatic. Um,
Uh-huh.
a
Uh-huh.
lot of them have very stern expressions, um, but there's a variety of expression, a variety of emotion expressed um, in their faces. So it is very beautiful, very impressive.
Yeah, I need to refresh my memory of that and make another trip. So,
Mm.
yeah, so Ochrid's a great place, isn't it? I mean, somebody once said they have a church for every day of the year.
That's what I heard. Yes, yeah.
Um,
There are hundreds of churches there. That's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, it's certainly a lot.
We only saw a
Um,
few of them. We went up to St Clement's on the top of the hill there. It was rather a
yes,
long, hot walk, but my wife and I wanted to see whether we could actually venerate the relics of St Clement, which are kept there. But
and could you?
unfortunately, there was a wedding going on
Oh, all
at the
right, yeah,
time,
yeah.
so we weren't able to enter the internal
So you couldn't go in at all.
sanctuary. Well, the outer narthex was open, so we
Uh-huh.
went around there and had a look at some of because the church has just been undergone a very extensive renovation. There wasn't very much of it left at all, but it was done entirely with hand tools and in as close a style to the how it would
I
originally have
see.
been
Yeah,
built as
yeah, yeah,
possible.
yeah.
So it's interesting from that point of
Okay,
view.
so when was that done? Because I mean, I was there a couple of years ago. So has it? It was done before that, presumably, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was probably the 2010s.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I've always seen that post that
It's
work.
surrounded by a very impressive monastic complex. Loads of very big buildings that have
Oh,
gone
this
up
is a
with it.
modern. You mean the modern buildings?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
But
think
it
it's a
seems that they're
theology.
not actually
It's a seminary or something, isn't it? Isn't it some theology college?
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
certainly it's more than just the church. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know quite what it is, but
yeah.
um,
And you went to the Church of St. John the
St. John the
Theologian, is it the one?
Theologian,
Yes.
yeah,
That's
is
one of the
right.
famous ones you see of a typical photograph of Ochrid, isn't it? Sort of
Yeah,
overlooking the
whenever
lake.
you see a picture of Ochrid, you see the
Yeah,
picture of St. John the Theologian right on the. It's a very
yeah.
small chapel,
The small
really,
chapel, yeah, yeah.
you can't. We would go inside, but and it is frescoed, but it's most impressive from the point of view of its exterior, the
Yeah.
beautiful Byzantine brickwork and
That's
so
right. It's
on.
classic Byzantine, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
The build of that. Yeah.
There's a lot of classical spolia involved in the building of um, St. Sophia in the central old town there.
Mhm.
They found some old Corinthian capitals buried under
Uh-huh.
the porch there, and a lot of the columns of the arcade connected to the church I think, of classical provenance. So there's a lot of reuse
Yeah.
of
And
old
did you go
material.
to Naum, the Church of St.
We didn't,
Monastery of St.
unfortunately.
Naum?
No,
Have
we
you been
didn't
there?
have enough
Have
time.
you
I
been?
haven't. No,
All
no.
right. It's worth a visit. Yeah, that's also,
We thought we might try and call in there on the way down to Bitola, but it
yeah.
involves a rather nasty mountain pass, and I was still rather worried. We had some car troubles when we were visiting the
Yes.
little church at Stuba,
Yeah, it sounds
and
like me in Montenegro last year. I avoided the ones where they
mm,
said it's passing places and that kind of stuff. I thought I don't really want to do that kind
yeah,
of thing, you
yeah,
know.
I'm too old for that kind of
Yeah,
going. I used to enjoy
it's
it, but
not really.
now when I've got a car full of children
Yeah, well, that's right. You have
on
the
mountain,
family with you as well. You can't really risk it. Yeah.
and I want to take a nice
So,
safe route. But the drive from Ochrid to Bitola was beautiful. It really was
yes.
a lovely road.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a very this Macedonian landscape is very
Yeah,
charming, isn't it? Something very special about it.
I want to get to know Northern Macedonia much better now.
Yeah,
The people are just so ridiculously friendly as well.
yeah, 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 yeah.
We had this trouble with the car. We took it to an electricer and a car an electrician
Yes,
just to get it checked over. And he was giving us the rakia and telling us all about his vineyard and so on and saying,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
if you're coming back, you've got to come and visit me. Look me up and so
yeah.
on."
They
And
are very. I've
and
got a friend there. He's got one of the up on the hill. He's got some sort of house with a
well, it
farm.
seems that nearly all of them do. So
Yeah,
I imagine it as a really wonderful visit, going around just calling in on making new friends
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
visiting these beautiful, and the lake itself is just such an amazing feature in the
Yes,
landscape.
yes,
A huge inland sea that's
yes.
been there for millions of years, and
Yeah,
it is so old that it
yeah.
contains species of fish and eel and so on that are endemic only to that
Is that
place.
right? Right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember when we went to the monastery of Nam, that's at the southern end, and it has a sort of microclimate because we were there in
yeah,
February, and you could
right,
there was snow on the mountaintops, but
yeah,
there it was really sort of warm. There's some sort of warm spring, and there were
right.
birds. They were like some of these like summer birds and stuff seemed to have stayed there. You know, you could hear them singing
Mhm.
and everything. It was very very special place.
And when you go down to the water's edge, you feel like you're at the seaside. But then the shade is provided by weeping willow trees, which
Yeah, that's right. It's sort of
completely distorts your idea of
yeah,
what's going on
that's right.
here.
It's a bit confusing, isn't it? Yeah, not like
It's
the
fresh water, of course. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So a very special place, Ochrid. Yeah, I
yeah.
want to see Prespa as well, and Little Prespa, and
Oh, you went there? Uh-huh.
have you been there?
No, but is it the snake? The sort of snakes on the island or something? Is that?
Is
Do you know that story about? There's an island in the middle, isn't there, of Prespa?
yes, yeah. Hmm.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay, so what?
that's where Samuel, the last Bulgarian emperor, had he built his cathedral church for his bishopric of Bulgaria.
Okay,
And it was
okay.
only after the Byzantines took over in 1218 that 11 sorry 1018 we're talking about, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that they moved to Ochrid. They moved the center of
Okay.
the
So
archbishopric.
is that still there? There's some sort of structure still there.
There is a structure still there. Yeah, there are still readable frescoes, although it has lost its roof. There's
Uh-huh.
some important inscriptions there as well,
Okay.
giving us an idea of who the bishops of Samuel's archbishopric were.
Yeah. Yeah. So much to see there.
Yeah, and because it's in this sort of hinterland between Albania, Greece, and Northern Macedonia.
Yeah.
For much of my life, it was you know the Macedonians and the Greeks weren't very friendly. The Albanians weren't friendly with anyone, so you couldn't go to these
Yeah. So
places.
no
Or well,
man's
you
land.
probably
Yeah.
could, but
Yeah.
it was all a bit
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, risky border country.
Yeah. Yeah. So now it's possible to freely explore it, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay. Just to add, oh yeah, to add to this thing about we mentioned this town of Bruce, and this is actually the eparchy of Kruševac. So Kruševac is this town in, let's say, central
yeah,
southern Serbia, um, and it's important because it was the capital of Serbia, wasn't it? It was
yeah, yeah. There's a Moravska
Prince
Serbia.
Lazar,
Yeah,
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 Hrebeljanović, is that right? He apparently.
yes, yeah,
He established it as a sort of fortified capital in
yeah.
1371, apparently.
Hmm.
Um, so that is the center, if you like, of this region I was just referring to. But the interesting thing now is that from a sort of modern point of view, is they've opened a motorway. They built a motorway.
Yeah,
So really, most parts of Serbia, which are off motorway, are pretty tiring to drive in, aren't they? You know, you've
yeah,
got these
yeah. Well, the
winding
road,
roads.
the long haul down to Greece used to be,
Yeah,
yeah,
I remember that. When I
mhm.
first did it, it was the last part after Niš. It was not pleasant, you know.
From Niš to Preševo to the border with
Yeah,
Macedonia
yeah,
was always tough. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and now you can do that all the way on
Yeah,
motorway, can't you? So that's much
yeah,
easier. And they've also done this now to basically to Kruševac. And I think one of the reasons is because of people going skiing on Kopaonik, and they're making
must
it
be.
easier to
Yeah,
go there. So that was quite a revelation. And I was saying before, I was like surprised how could the journey time on Google be so short, and
mm.
that's why. So I
Well, we
guess that
haven't
was
been to Kopaonik for a good few years now. All the kids keep asking, but with going to England to visit my parents in summer and winter, it's difficult to fit in any
well,
kind of a
that's right. Yeah, we only got a certain amount of free time, haven't we,
break.
to travel
Yeah,
around? But it's
not to
always
mention the expense.
rewarding to find these new places. Well, for us anyway.
But skiing in Kopaonik now is price wise pretty much beyond me. I think.
Is it sort of approaching Alpine prices or something?
I think it's cheaper to go to Austria, to be honest.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, not it's not. I'm not likely to be doing that anytime in the near future
Well,
anyway.
I'm not either at my age, but the kids want to go,
Oh,
so
they
I'm
want
going
to
to have to
go.
organise it at some
Okay, we'll
stage
sort something out. We'll go
somewhere.
to
Yeah.
Bulgaria. Apparently, that's isn't it? That's
I've been to Bulgaria a couple of times. Yeah,
yeah. What's it called?
to
Brash.
Riga.
Oh, right. Not that one. Okay.
Is it what's
There's one
the one
beginning with B, which is a big ski resort. What's that?
that there's Banska and
Banska. Yeah, that's it.
there's
That's it.
Brzezovice, is it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's on Mount Rila, where the monastery of Rila is also
Have you been to the
located.
Rilla Monastery, actually?
I haven't, no, and I want to.
Yeah, Christopher's been. He said it's great, so it
Yeah,
sounds like it's
yeah,
really worth a
hmm
visit. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And apparently it has a very extensive old library as well, because it was a center
Oh, really?
of
And the books are still there, you
Christianity.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, great.
My the historian I was reading, he was um, hoping to trace the the source for one of the texts that he has from this. Joseph the Bearded was the name of
Oh, yeah.
the itinerant preacher who was based out of Rila, and he thinks that it was he drew his story from a Russian source from the library at Rila, but he hasn't yet located it.
Okay. So that's something to
Mhm.
look out for. Good. Well, I think that's pretty well everything on the list for today.
Yeah,
So we thank
yeah,
everyone
great.
for their
That's
attention.
an interesting chance. Yes, I
Yeah,
must
we'll
watch
catch up.
the Christopher's appearance on Ram
Yeah,
TV.
yeah, definitely have a look at
And
that. It's really good.
yeah, yeah, it's a pity I'm going to miss this lecture then.
Yeah, because
This
he's
week.
talking again at Nevsky Church. And
Mhm.
It's worth mentioning the Alexander Nevsky Church, which is in
It
the
is,
Dolchal
yes.
region of Belgrade. It's sort of a bit of a hub of
Hmm.
activity. It has a sort of international aspect. Many of the priests are, speak English,
Is this
and
because of Father Oliver in particular,
well,
you
Father Oliver
think?
in particular,
Uh-huh.
Father George Deacon,
George,
he also
yes,
speaks
yes.
English, and some of the other
Mhm.
priests, Father Alexander as well, speaks English.
Yes.
I think most of them speak some. And you have quite a few expats going there.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's in fact this Nevsky Talks is
Hmm.
sort of built around that community.
Well, I found it very interesting, the last one we attended, the one that they did about money.
Oh,
And
yes,
I
yeah,
keep
yeah.
meaning to go again, but for one reason or another,
Well, that's right. And
family life has
it was
been
like on Sundays for a while. So this is the
right,
first time it's a weekday for quite a while.
right, right.
So we'll see which days it's on.
But
Okay,
yes,
well,
highly
thank you everybody
recommend.
for your attention, and see you on the next podcast.